Go ahead and do something simple for me. Sit comfortably, then slowly stand up. Take your time. Now notice your legs for just a second. Did they respond right away? Or was there a small pause, a moment where your body seemed to hesitate before moving? If you're over 60 or 70, that delay is not something you should ignore. And no, it's not just getting older, even though that's what many people are told. I've spoken with many older adults who say the same thing. 5 or 10 years ago, they could stand in the kitchen, cook a full meal, walk through a store, or take a stroll around the block without thinking twice. Today, those same simple activities feel heavier, slower, more tiring. So, what changed? Most people assume their muscles got weaker, or that their joints are wearing out. But in many cases, the real issue is something much quieter, something happening deep inside the body, your blood flow. Because when blood doesn't move the way it should, your legs don't get the oxygen and nutrients they need. And when that happens, everything begins to slow down. In this video, I want to walk with you through something important, not complicated, just clear and practical. There are 6 key vitamins that play a direct role in keeping your circulation strong, especially in your legs. And one of them, the most overlooked one, has been shown to make a remarkable difference even later in life. So stay with me. What you're about to hear may change the way you think about your legs and what's really possible for them moving forward. Let me ask you something gently. Think back just a few years, not decades ago, just 5, maybe 10 years. Could you stand at the kitchen counter and prepare a full meal without needing to sit down halfway through? Could you walk through a grocery store, take your time, look at the shelves, and finish without your legs asking for a break? For many people I talk to, the answer used to be yes. But somewhere along the way, things started to change. Maybe it began with a slight heaviness. Then came the need to pause more often. Then that quiet feeling of fatigue in your legs, even after doing something simple. And here's what makes it difficult. This change doesn't happen overnight. It's slow, subtle, easy to dismiss. You tell yourself, I'm just getting older, so you adapt. You sit more, you move less. Without realizing it, your world becomes a little smaller. But what if I told you something important? In many cases, your legs are not failing you. They are simply not being supplied the way they used to be. The strength may still be there. The structure may still be there. But the delivery system, the blood flow, is no longer keeping up. And once you understand that, everything starts to look different. Now let's take a closer look at what's really happening inside your legs, and I'll keep this simple. Inside every blood vessel, there is a very thin inner lining. You can think of it like the smooth coating on a non-stick pan. When that surface is healthy, blood flows easily. It moves without resistance, carrying oxygen and nutrients to your muscles the way it should. But over time, that lining can become irritated and damaged. Not suddenly, but little by little. When that happens, the surface is no longer smooth. It becomes rough, almost sticky. Blood doesn't glide anymore. It slows down. Imagine a garden hose. When it's straight, water flows freely. But if you twist it or step on it, the flow becomes weak and uneven. That's very similar to what's happening in your legs. When circulation slows, your muscles don't receive enough oxygen, and your body feels it right away. Your legs may feel heavy, colder than usual, or disconnected, like they're not responding the way they used to. This is why simple movements start to feel harder. Not because your body forgot how to move, but because it's not being fueled properly anymore. And that's an important difference. Now, you might be wondering, is there any real evidence behind this, or is it just theory? That's a fair question. There was a long-term study that followed more than 2,000 older adults over several years. Researchers wanted to understand why some people in their 70s and 80s could still walk with confidence, while others began to struggle much earlier. At first, they looked at the usual things: exercise levels, daily activity, even genetics. And yes, those factors mattered to a degree, but they didn't explain the full picture. What stood out, very clearly, was something else. The individuals who maintained better leg strength and smoother movement all had one thing in common. Their bodies had a higher level of key nutrients that support blood vessel function. Not one nutrient, a small group working together. These nutrients helped keep blood vessels flexible, open, and responsive. In other words, they supported the very system that delivers oxygen and energy to your legs. And this is where it becomes interesting. Because once researchers identified these specific vitamins, they began to see a pattern. People who had enough of them didn't just feel better, they moved better. They stayed independent longer. So now, let's walk through these one by one in a simple and practical way. Let's begin with one that most people rarely hear about, but plays a quiet and powerful role inside your blood vessels: vitamin K2. Now, many people are familiar with vitamin K in general, usually in connection with blood clotting, but K2 does something very different. Its job is to help guide calcium to where it belongs, like your bones, and keep it away from places where it can cause harm. One of those places is your arteries. Over time, calcium can begin to settle inside the walls of your blood vessels. Not all at once, but slowly, layer by layer. When that happens, those vessels become harder and less flexible. Instead of gently expanding and contracting to move blood upward from your feet, they become stiff and narrow. Think of it like a pipe that slowly fills with mineral buildup. The space for flow becomes smaller and the pressure increases. There was a large European study that followed thousands of adults for years. Those with higher intake of vitamin K2 had significantly less buildup in their arteries, especially in the lower body. And that difference showed up in how well they could move. The challenge today is that K2 is not easy to get from a modern diet. As we age, it becomes even harder to maintain adequate levels. Supporting this one nutrient can quietly make a meaningful difference in how your blood moves through your legs. Now let's talk about another nutrient that works like a protective layer for your blood vessels: vitamin E. Inside your body, there are tiny unstable particles called free radicals. They are a natural part of metabolism, but over time, they can start to damage the inner walls of your blood vessels. It's a bit like rust forming on metal, slowly, silently, weakening the structure. When that damage builds up, your vessels become less flexible and more narrow, and as you already know, that makes it harder for blood to move smoothly, especially down into your legs and back up again. This is where vitamin E steps in. You can think of it as a shield. It helps protect that delicate inner lining, keeping it smooth so blood can continue to flow the way it should. When that lining stays healthy, everything downstream improves. There was a study involving older adults where researchers actually measured blood flow in the legs. Those with better vitamin E levels showed noticeably stronger circulation. Not just on paper, but in real visible differences. But here's something important to understand. Not all vitamin E works the same. Many common supplements are in a form the body doesn't use very well. That's why natural sources, or better quality forms, tend to make a bigger difference. And just like with K2, this is not about quick fixes. It's about steady support for the system your legs depend on every day. Now let's move to a vitamin that almost everyone has heard of, but very few people truly understand when it comes to circulation: vitamin C. Most people think of vitamin C as something you take when you feel a cold coming on. But inside your body, it has a much deeper role, especially for your blood vessels. Your vessels are not just hollow tubes. They have structure. They need strength and flexibility at the same time, and that structure depends heavily on something called collagen. You can think of collagen as the framework that holds everything together. Without enough of it, your blood vessels begin to lose their ability to stretch and bounce back. They become weaker, less responsive, less efficient. And here's the key point. Your body cannot produce collagen without vitamin C. It's not optional. Without it, the repair and maintenance of your vessels simply slows down. Studies have shown that older adults with better vitamin C levels tend to have more flexible blood vessels. That flexibility matters because your leg vessels are constantly working against gravity, pushing blood back up toward your heart. But there's a small detail many people miss. Vitamin C doesn't stay in your body for long. It's used quickly and then removed, so taking a large amount once a day may not give you steady support. A more consistent intake throughout the day can make a quiet but meaningful difference over time. This one works differently from the others. While most vitamins support your blood vessels over time, niacin can create a noticeable response quite quickly. Some people describe a warm sensation spreading through the skin, sometimes even a light redness. That reaction can feel unusual at first, but it's actually a sign that your blood vessels are opening up. Think of it like turning a narrow road into a wider one. More space, less resistance, smoother flow. When those small vessels in your legs begin to open, blood can move more freely. Oxygen reaches your muscles more efficiently. And for many people, that means less tightness, fewer cramps, and a lighter feeling when they walk. There have been clinical observations where older adults using niacin experienced a clear improvement in lower leg circulation over several weeks. Not overnight, but steady and measurable. Now, it's important to approach this one gently. Because of that warming effect, starting with a lower amount and allowing your body to adjust can make the experience more comfortable. Over time, many people find that their body adapts well. This is one of the few nutrients where you may actually notice a shift, not just inside, but in how your legs feel day to day. Now, let's talk about something that many people don't even think of as a vitamin at all, but it plays a central role in how your blood vessels behave. Vitamin D3. In your body, vitamin D3 acts more like a regulator. It helps control many different processes, including how your blood vessels relax and respond. One of the key ways it does this is by supporting the production of a substance that allows vessels to open and let blood pass through more easily. When D3 levels are low, that system doesn't work as well. Your vessels tend to stay more narrow, more rigid. And when that happens, circulation becomes less efficient, especially in areas like your legs where blood already has to work harder against gravity. There have been large population studies showing that older adults with lower D3 levels often have stiffer blood vessels and reduced blood flow to their extremities. And this isn't just a number on a test. It shows up in daily life, in how far someone can walk, how stable they feel, how quickly fatigue sets in. Another thing to keep in mind is that as we age, our bodies become less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. Even if you spend time outside, it may not be enough. So, maintaining healthy levels becomes something you have to pay attention to. Because when this system is supported, your blood vessels are simply better able to do their job. Now we come to the one that often makes the biggest difference, especially in older adults: vitamin B12. This is the one many people overlook, and yet, it plays a direct role in how your legs feel, how they respond, and how well they function day to day. Let me explain it in a simple way. Your body relies on healthy red blood cells to carry oxygen to your muscles. Without enough B12, your body struggles to produce those cells efficiently. Less oxygen reaches your legs, and over time, that can lead to weakness and fatigue. But that's only part of the story. B12 is also essential for your nerves. The nerves that help control your muscles and regulate your blood vessels depend on a protective layer to function properly. Without enough B12, that protection begins to break down. Signals become slower, less clear. That's when people start to notice things like tingling, numbness, or a burning sensation in their legs. Sometimes balance feels off, steps feel less steady. And here's what's important. These symptoms are often dismissed as normal aging. But in many cases, they are signs that the body is not getting enough B12. As we get older, the body becomes less efficient at absorbing this vitamin from food, so even if you're eating well, your levels may still be low. Supporting B12, especially in forms that are easier for the body to absorb, can help restore that connection between your blood flow, your nerves, and your movement. And for some people, that change can feel surprisingly noticeable over time. So when you step back and look at the bigger picture, something becomes very clear. What many people accept as just aging is often something much more specific. It's not that your legs are simply wearing out. It's that the systems supporting them, your blood flow, your vessels, your nutrient levels, are no longer being maintained the way they once were. And when those systems begin to slow down, your legs feel it first. The heaviness, the fatigue, the hesitation when you stand or walk, These are not random changes, they are signals. The encouraging part is this. When you begin to support your body in the right way, even small changes can start to add up. Your circulation improves. Your muscles receive what they need. Your movements begin to feel more natural again. Your legs have carried you through years of life, through routines, responsibilities, and memories. They've done their job quietly, without asking for much. And now, they simply need a little more support. Not complicated solutions, just the right kind of attention. And that shift, even though it may seem small, can make a meaningful difference in how you move forward from here. So here's a simple place to begin. You don't have to change everything at once. In fact, it's often better not to. Just choose one of the vitamins we talked about today. Focus on it. Give your body time to respond. Maybe it's something that felt familiar. Maybe it's something you've never considered before. Either way, stay consistent for the next few weeks and pay attention to how your legs feel. Notice the small things, how steady you are when you stand, how far you can walk before needing a break. Those quiet improvements matter. And if you feel a difference, I encourage you to share it. Your experience could be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Take care of your body, one step at a time. And if you'd like to continue learning, there's more we can explore together in the next video.